This is a Revolution Series 200 Iranian Rial banknote featured with Jame Mosque of Yazd and agricultural workers. The Rial code, IRR, is the currency of Iran. The Rial was first introduced in 1798 as a coin worth 1,250 dinars or 1/8 of a toman. In 1825, the Rial ceased to be issued, with the Chiran subdivided into 20 shahi or 1,000 dinars and was worth 1/10 of a toman, being issued as part of a decimal system. The Rial replaced the Chiran at par in 1932, subdivided into 100 new dinars. Prior to decimalization in 1932, these coins and currencies were used. And some of these terms still have wide usage in Iranian languages and proverbs. In 1932, the Rial was pegged to the British pound at £1 equals 59.75 rials. The exchange rate was 80.25 in 1936, 64.350 in 1939, 68.8 in 1940, 141 in 1941 and 129 in 1942. In 1945, the Rial was pegged to the US dollar at $1 equals 32.25 rials. The rate was $1 equals 75.75 rials in 1957. Iran did not follow the dollar's devaluation in 1973, leading to a new peg of $1 equals 68.725 rials. The peg to USD was dropped in 1975. In 1979, 70 rials equaled $1. The value of the Rial declined precipitously after the Islamic Revolution because of capital flight from the country. Studies estimate that the flight of capital from Iran shortly before and after the revolution in the range of $30 to $40 billion. Whereas on March 15, 1978, 71.46 rials equaled $1. In July 1999, $1 equaled 9,430 rials. Injecting sudden foreign exchange revenues in the economic system forms the phenomenon of Dutch disease in a country. There are two main consequences for a country with Dutch disease: loss of price competitiveness in its production goods, and hence the exports of those goods, and an increase in imports. Both cases are clearly visible in Iran. Although described as an interbank market rate, the value of the Iranian Rial is tightly controlled by the central bank. The state ownership of oil export earnings and its large reserves, supervision of letters of credit, together with current and capital outflow account outflows allows management of demand. The central bank has allowed the Rial to weaken in nominal terms, 4.6% on average in 2009, in order to support the competitiveness of non-oil exports. There is an active black market in foreign exchange, but the development of the TSE rate, and the ready availability of foreign exchange during 2000 narrowed the differential to as little as IR 100 in mid-2000. However, the spread increased again in September 2010 because channels for transferring foreign currency to and from Iran being blocked because of international sanctions. Monetary policy is facilitated by a network of 50 Iranian-run forex dealers in Iran, the rest of the Middle East and Europe. According to the Wall Street Journal and dealers, the Iranian government was selling $250 million daily to keep the Rial exchange rate against the US dollar between 9,700 and 9,900 in 2009. At times, before the devaluation of the Rial in 2013, the authorities weakened the national currency intentionally by withholding the supply of hard currency to earn more Rial-denominated income, usually at times when the government faced a budget deficit. The widening of the gap between official and unofficial exchange rates stood at over 20% in November 2011. This shows the correlation between the value of foreign currencies and the domestic inflationary environment. The unofficial Rial to US dollar rate underwent severe fluctuations in January 2012, the Rial losing 50% of its value in a few days, following new international sanctions against the CBI. Eventually settling at 17,000 rials at the end of the period. Besides all the bad effects on the economy in general, this had the effect of boosting the competitiveness of Iran's domestic industries abroad. Following President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad's decision to liberalize the mechanism by which bank interest rates are set, granting banks the authority to raise interest rates to 21%. CBI announced that it would be fixing the official rate of the rial against the dollar at 12,260 rials from January 28, 2012 and seek to meet all demand for foreign currency through banks. As of June 2020, the Iranian Rial has fallen almost five-fold since the beginning of 2018, and contributing to the record inflation. Reason cited by analysts is the fact that the government has been printing money in excess of the economic growth. In 1932, notes were issued by the Bank Melli Iran in denominations of 5, 10, 20, 50, 100 and 500 rials. 1,000 rial notes were introduced in 1935, followed by 200 rial notes in 1951 and 5,000 and 10,000 rials in 1952. 5 rial notes were last issued in the 1940s, with 10 rial notes disappearing in the 1960s. In 1961, the Central Bank of Iran took over the issuance of paper money. In 1979, after the Islamic Revolution, Iranian banknotes featuring the Shah's face were counterstamped with intricate designs to cover the Shah's face. The first regular issues of the Islamic Republic were in denominations of 100, 200, 500, 1,000, 5,000 and 10,000 rials. 2,000 rial notes were introduced in 1986. They are issued by the Central Bank of Iran, each bearing the signature of the President of the Iranian Central Bank. The 100, 200 and 500 rial banknotes are becoming increasingly uncommon. Shopkeepers habitually give out small packages of gum in lieu of the last 500 rials of change. For day-to-day means people will carry wads of 100,000s. Issuance of larger notes. Printing banknotes larger than 10,000 rials was first proposed in 1989. And in 1992 the central bank asked for government permission to print 20,000, 50,000 and 100,000 rial notes. This was not realized at that time, due to fears of inflation and counterfeiting. The 10,000 rials note remained the highest valued banknote for more than 50 years until 2005. When a 20,000 rial banknote was introduced, and subsequently a 50,000 rial banknote was introduced with the subject being the Iranian nuclear energy program. The note was issued March 12. The note features a quote by the Prophet Muhammad, translated as, "Even if knowledge is at the Pleiades, the people from the land of Persia would attain it." Banknotes currently in circulation are 100, 200, 500, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 and 100,000 rials. After the death of Ruhollah Khomeini, his portraits were used on the obverse of 1,000 rial banknotes and greater. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like our video and click the subscribe button.